Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. We are so excited to have you here with us for the Good Grief 5K Run 2-mile walk. At this time, I'd like you to direct your attention to the stage and make a lot of noise for Good Grief's very own CEO, Teresa Schubeck. Let's hear it.
Good morning, everyone. Who ordered this weather? Who's yay? And who's ready to walk? And let's have a great shout out for our littlest runners, our Kids Dash. Let's give a round of applause for about 950 at least, because I know there's more who are registered this morning, and that's over 100 more than last year. So give yourselves another round of applause. Excellent. So now for our fundraising. It's all about fun, and it's all about raising money for Good Grief's programs. And as of this morning, we have raised $160,000. Shout out to Joanna and Jeremy, our Good Grief development staff, who are running a smooth show today, and thank them for all that they've done. But guess what? It's not over. There's 2 more weeks when people can make gifts to raise above the 160 and continue to make progress. So for your team, if you haven't met your goal yet, keep working on it. And after you're here today, tell everybody who supported you that you finished the race or the walk, and ask them. But most of all, let's celebrate all that we've accomplished. So thank you to all of our sponsors, and a special thanks to our top sponsors, Onyx Equities, Open Space Management, and to our top sponsor, Ferring Pharmaceuticals. Let's have a round of applause for them, because they make this happen as well. Follow Gio's lead here. So moving over to our teams, you know what they say, every team's a winner. So, but our top 2 teams for fundraising. In second place, let's have a big round of applause for Team Warrior. Where are you? Team Warrior, where are you guys? And And in first place for the second year in a row, Team Semper Fi. Where are you guys? Yay. So beyond all those numbers is the impact of today, and the money we raise is absolutely vital to sustaining Good Grief's programs. Our Nights of Support, our peer support programs in Morristown and Princeton. Many of you here today are current program participants, and some of you are former program participants. But if you're new to Good Grief and don't learn more from our speakers, and you know, our doors are always open. We welcome you to come in for a tour, to meet our staff, and to meet our friends here. So today we remember, together we remember, and forever we remember. So now I'm going to ask Gio and Cody to come closer. Gio's going to go first. My buddy here. Yes, you're going to still have your speech, right? Okay, come on up. You can stand up now. Very good. Let's have a round of applause for Gio.
Hi everyone, my name is Gio and I am 10 years old. When I was 6, my mom died. Her name was Natalia and she was very kind and helpful. After my mom died, my dad and I started coming to Good Grief. We have been coming here for 4 years and I love it. At first I was in the orange group and now I am in the tangerine group. And I really like the games and activities and especially the friends I've made here. Some of the things I've learned at Good Grief is how important family it is and how important it is to remember the people who died. On my mom's birthday, we tied messages to balloons and then released them. On Mother's Day, we lit a candle in her memory. Today, I am running in her memory. Good Grief has taught me to always stay positive.
Now we'll hear from Cody.
I think I'm fine. Hi, everyone. A few months ago, I was sitting in my second block history class. I decided to check my email. That's when I noticed that I'd been invited to speak here. At first, I didn't really know what to think. It took me a little while to respond, but I'll skip to the chase. We all know the answer. I was first asked to speak about my time with Good Grief. I've been attending meetings at the location in Morristown since it's been pretty much as long as I can remember. I was really young when my mom died, so unfortunately it's not nearly as easy to remember a lot of the memories about her as it used to be. My dad died much more recently, however. He died on December 26th of 2019, so I'm lucky to still have a lot of memories. My favorite memories was when when we went hiking at Pyramid Mountain, only it was like 6 in the morning and about 13 degrees outside. Of course, it was my idea, and of course, I was much younger than I am. I would never subject myself to that at this age. Surprisingly, my dad actually said yes, and about after 30 minutes of layering on clothes, we finally left. Once we got there, and after a sufficient time of wishing we hadn't actually made it there, we started moving. Once I started moving, we warmed up, and that's when we started actually enjoying ourselves. Some of the scenery that I saw on that hike I can still picture, and I'm still happy to this day that I decided to drag my dad to freeze on top of a mountain. As I said, I've been coming to Good Grief to attend with my sister and dad. Recently, I've wanted to get a little more involved in Good Grief, so I actually volunteered to work at the gala at Park Savoy in Florham Park. I'd have to say something that I love about Good Grief is the fact that I'm with people that are in the same boat as me. It took me a little while to realize that Good Grief is the only time where I'm actually with people who share the experience, the loss of a loved one. Outside of Good Grief, I don't think I know anyone who has experienced the death of a parent or sibling, and whether that's because someone hasn't told me or because it hasn't actually happened, it's nice to have an environment where I share this experience. Overall, since I started at Good Grief, I'd say it's had an immense benefit. Honestly, I don't think I actually stopped to think about any of that until I had to write this speech, though. However, when I actually stopped to think about the impact of Good Grief, I realized that I have no other environment to share my feelings regarding loss. Without the bi-weekly meetings at Good Grief, there's a lot regarding the topic of loss that I still probably wouldn't have thought about, and by going to Good Grief and listening to the experience of others, I found myself asking questions that I didn't know I had. There have been times where I find a peer bringing up a topic that I didn't even know I felt myself. I'd have to admit that good grief has become ingrained in my day-to-day life. I started all the way in the orange group and made my way all the way to the teen group. It's probably not hard to tell that my experience with good grief has changed a lot as I've gotten older. Fortunately, no more finger painting or the volcano room. In all seriousness, though, as I've grown up and gotten more mature, so has good grief. I find that the meetings now revolve more around talking to one another and expressing how we feel, and expressing the loss of a parent or a sibling or another loved one. As a whole, I'm super glad I started coming to Good Grief, and I hope I can continue to attend in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Gio. So we'll now close with a poem read by Latanya. Latanya lost her husband and the father of her twin daughters, Nadia and Aaliyah. They began attending Nights of Support in 2013 and continued for about 6.5 years. And by the beginning of the pandemic, they felt that they felt strong enough and well-equipped to manage their grief. Notably, Latanya was also a member of our Board of Trustees for 2 years, and the whole family is here. I believe Nadia and Aaliyah, one is a runner, one is a volunteer. Either way, the whole family is here to support Mom. And so I'd like to ask her to come forward.
This poem is entitled, A Litany of Remembrance. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Latanya. And now it's time to get going to our races. They will start promptly at 10 a.m., which is in about 12 minutes. So they'll both start at the same time. The 5K race will be down Dodge Drive, down to the right. So if you go out this way or walk across the lawn, it's down to the right. And the 2-mile walk will kick off from the festival area closer to us, but near that blue tent right over there. So you can make your way there in a minute. We'll call the groups to the starting lines at 9:50. Important pieces of instruction to give our runners. If you run a 6 or 7 minute mile, please move to the front. I don't probably have to tell you that. But if you don't go anywhere near the front of the line because you will be mowed over. And if you don't know what pace you don't run a 6 or 7 minute mile. All right? So if you have a stroller or a baby carriage, please go to the back as well for everybody's safety. So speaking of safety, have a safe run, have fun, and let's remember everyone in a beautiful way today. Thank you from Good Grief.